Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This lecture is about the poem on his blindness, which is written by John Milton. Here we go reading the text of this poem. So John Milton said that in this poem, when I consider how my light is spent, ere half my days in this dark world and white, and that one talent which is death to hide, ledged with my useless, though my soul more bent, to serve there with my marker and present, my true account lest he returning chip. Doth God exactly day labor, light denied, I fondly ask, but patient to prevent. That murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts who best bear his mild yoke, they serve him best. His estate is kingly thousands at his bidding speed, and post all land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. Okay, this is the text of this poem. So I'm going to explain the meaning of these lines. Before that, we have to know who's John Milton. John Milton, born in 9 December in 1608, and he died in 8 November 1674. So he's one of the prominent intellectual poets in England. Okay, and he served as a civil servant. Look, he is very important and became a popular when he wrote the epic poem, its name Paradise Lost, in 1667. And also it is written in a blank verse. Let's shift to explain the first two lines. He said, when I consider how my light is spent, ere half my days in this dark world and white. He's talking about himself when he said that, when I consider how my light is spent. So now he's talking about himself. Actually, he became a blind. في الحقيقة هو أصاب بالعمى. ولذلك هي كتب هذه القصيدة حول نفسه. He said that my light is spent. Look, most of the people will think that the oil of the lamp is finished, but it is not like that. The speaker says that his light can be spent, and this verse suggests that he is thinking of something like an oil lamp. The light is spent when the oil in the lamp runs out. من الحديث هو ليس حول الوقود المصباح قد انتهى, but he's talking about his eyes. هو يتحدث عن نفسه أو عن أعينه. Then he said that the word ere means, before the explanation of these lines, is that Milton guesses roughly how long he will live. Milton was completely blind at the age of 42. So when his age became 42, he became a blind, so he can't see anything in the world. So he's talking about himself, and he confused about the life, how he will completely the remaining years of his life. Finally calling the word dark and white marks it sound like a square place. يعتقد بأنه العالم المظلم هو كعالم مخيف ومظلم. Interestingly, Milton makes it seem as if the world has run out of the light rather than grown dark because of any blindness on his part. هو يتحدث عن العالم المظلم سواء كان مظلما بالظلم وأنت مفتح العين أو أنه في الحقيقة هو مظلم. So he's talking about how the world is going on, and he's talking about himself. The next two lines, and that one talent which is death to hide, light with my useless though my soul more bent. He's still talking about himself. Let's focus on the word talent. It means that an intelligent. Look, he considers himself that he's a big talent. Okay, let's figure his talent is about what? It's about a business or it's about a thinking. Look, the keyword is talent. When Milton says that talent is death to hide, he's referring to the money in the biblical story and also to his own talent in the sense of a skill or trade. يعني انه احنا مخيرين بين ما يكون بين البزنس الأعمال التجارية أو ما بين المهارات التي مكتسبها. There is no way to tell that specific talent he means, but our guesses would be his intelligence and his writing and reading skills, which he had used in a service or Oliver growingly government. This talent is alleged or borrowed without the speaker, just like the money in the story. It cannot be used to make a great profit, the speaker told us. He's talking about himself. He has a big talent. يتحدث عن نفسه إنه لديه مقدرة وعقلية واسعة. ليس المحتمل أن تكون حول التجارة أو البزنس أو making money, but قد تكون حول writing and reading. So he's a writer. Okay, he's an author. He became a popular when he wrote a Paradise Lost. أصبح مشهور عندما كتب Paradise Lost. It's also related to the religion life. Okay, it is related to the God himself. The next lines, to serve there with my marker at the present, my true account lest he returning. When he's faced with God, he wants to have record of accomplishments to show him. The word account here means both a story and a record of activities with money. If the speaker turns out to have wasted his profit, he worries that God will scold or chide him. And if God is anything like the Lord from the parable, the speaker could get cast into a darkness even more fearful than the one created by his blindness. Look, he relates his poem with the God. We can consider that this poem, it has a theme of religion. هو يريد أن يبين بأنه لديه ارتباط حقيقي مع الرب أو مع الدين أو مع التعاليم الأخلاقية الدينية. So he's talking about how the life is going on. Okay, maybe the God punish him, or the God wants to prove that if I take something from you, so I will give you the better things. So he lost his eyes, but he has a great talent. He can do anything with his talent. He's better than other. Line number 7. Doth God exactly day labor, light denied? Let's figure, what do you mean by this line? He wonders if God demands that people undertake hard physical work, or they labor when they don't have any light. The speaker does not have any light because he's blind, but in Milton's metaphor, he compares this condition to have to do work at night that you would normally do during the day, like say a building, a house, or blowing a file. He compared the life, how is going on. Okay, if I'm living in a dark place, or if I can't see anything, so it means that I should do something. Okay, as the people, they are working at the day. Okay, but in the night they are sleeping because it's a dark. Okay, if we compare it between the day and the night, okay, he considers himself that I can walk in the dark, I can walk in the night. So it means that I should not stay sleeping or does not do anything in my life. I should not be a useless in this life. يعني إنه قارن ما بين النهار والليل. إنه ليس بالمعنى إنه في الليل أنت لا تستطيع أن عمل أي شيء أو ما تقدر تقوم بأي فعل. فقط انه نستبدل النهار بالليل، انت تستطيع العمل. يعني انت مو مجرد انه تكون عاجز عن فعل اي شيء، مثل ما العمال الاخرين يستطيعون البناء في وقت النهار والنوم في وقت الليل. لو بدلنا ما بين الليل والنهار فنستطيع القيام ذلك في النهار. The word exactly means something like a claim or demand you can exactly to toll or a fee. For example, so the speaker wants to know if God demands work as a kind of a payment that is due to him. The first section of the poem is completed by the words I fondly ask. The word fondly means that foolishly, not lovely. He keeps speaking about himself and he related to the God. Okay, maybe the God wants to prove that person can do anything, even in the day or in the night, if you can see or you cannot. ليس المعنى أنه أنت تفقد البصر أن أنت لا تستطيع العمل أي شيء. أوكي، فلنفترض لديك عقلية عظيمة، فأنت تستطيع العمل في أي وقت، سواء in the day or in the night. The next 3 lines, I fondly ask but patient to prevent that murmur soon replies, God doth not need either man's work or his own gifts who passed. Patience to the rescue. Patience is personified as someone who can talk sense into the speaker. Patience is often personified in Christian art because of its role in helping one to achieve important virtues like courage and wisdom. So the patience is important theme in this poem. He compared with the Christian. I'm talking about the Jesus. We have to be a patient in this life. Okay, we should not give up, because from the patient we will get the wisdom in this life, and why some people are strong and the other people look so weak. Some people can see but the other people cannot see. The speaker is about a murmur, his foolish question about whether God would be so cruel as to make impossible demands of work, but then his patient steps in to stop him. Okay, look, it is very important. With the patient we can realize that the real of the life. مع الصبر نستطيع أن نعرف ما هي حقيقة الحياة وكيف تستمر، نتعلم حكم الحياة. Okay, let's read this sentence again. The speaker is about to murmur his foolish question. All of us has such a question. كلنا لدينا سؤال مهم. God would be so cruel. Maybe we consider the God looks so cruel. نعتبر أنه الرب قد يكون قاسي. لماذا? To make impossible demands of work, but then his patient steps him to stop. Okay, rest of the poem is replies met my patient. Okay, look, if we feel a patient, okay, if we realize the life how it's going on, we'll understand that the wisdoms of this life, how does it look like. يعني نعرف انه قيم الحياة ومفاهيمها والموازين المختلفة من خلال الصبر. كل ما نصبر كل ما نتعلم أساسيات الحياة، حيث أنه فقد بصره لكن تعلم بأنه العمل ليس بأنه فقط عندك بصر. أنت فقدان البصر تستطيع أن تعمل أن تتواصل مع الحياة. وأدرك أنه لديه عقلية من خلال كتابه، حيث أنه كتب العديد من القصائد العظيمة. Patience points out that God does not need anything. Okay, look, realize that the God, he does not need anything from us. God is completely and perfect. He does not need work or talents, gifts of any kind. إن الرب أو الله ليس بحاجة إلى البشرية أو إلى أي شخص. أوكي، لكن بالصبر رح نفهم هذه الأمور. إن الرب هو كامل وليس بحاجة إلى أي شخص في اتجاه أو حتى ليعبده. من خلال الصبر ندرك موازين الحياة الأساسية، من خلال الصبر ندرك كيف نستمر في الحياة. Line number 11. Per his mild yoke, they serve him best. What do you mean by yoke? Let's figure the meaning of this word. It's a wood frame that is placed around the necks of farm animals, like oxen, so that they can be directed. It is around the neck of the oxen. Patient does not want to make God sound like a slave driver, so God's yoke is called mild, or not that bad. It is not how much you have to show for your time on earth that counts. It is how you handle your submission to God. It does not mean that to be a slave for a God or for anyone else. Okay, we have to work, we have to do, or we have to serve for ourselves. The last 3 lines. Is kingly thousands at his bidding speed, and posts o'er land and ocean without rest? They also serve how only stand and wait. The final point made by patient is that God is like a king, okay, not a lord. So the parable of the talents does not strict applies. Lord need everyone on their estates to work for them. They usually don't have the resources to spend on keeping servants, just to stand around and wait on them. Kings, on the other hand, have ultimately resources, especially if they control estates as large as entire earth. With his kingly state, God has plans of minions to do his bidding by rushing from place to place, that is, doing things that require his light and vision. It does not make a difference whether one more person fulfills the rule or not. What would the speaker be waiting for? He's talking about ourselves. We'll understand that the God, he has in everything, but we have nothing. So we have to work. We have to prove to us that we can live in this earth. We can do everything in this earth. We can serve ourselves. تستطيع الفهم من هذه القصيدة أنها ترتبط بالجانب الديني والجانب الروحي والجانب العملي، ولكن الثيم الرئيسي اللي هو patient، الصبر. So we have to be patient حتى نعرف مصاعب الحياة وحتى نستمر. If we talk about the God, هو لديه كل شيء. He does not need us to pray for him. لا يريدنا أن ندعو إليه أو نصلي أو نخدمه. We have to do it for ourselves to live in this earth. Theme of religion is one of the important themes of this poem. Let's figure. John Milton was a Puritan who supports Oliver Cromwell Republican Commonwealth. After the execution of King Charles I of England during this period, politics and religion, the poem displays Milton's encyclopedic knowledge of the Bible and also his reforming instincts. Milton is not afraid to challenge the supposed moral of the New Testament parable of the talents by pointing out the difference between God and Lord from the story. The sonnet gives expressions to instance religious emotion, but it is rational and rhetorical qualities are equal important. It is about how the life is related to the religion. It is a full of religion because it has a full of learning how the life is going on. We can realize that Milton knows in everything. He has all the information about the Bible. If we talk about the Bible, it means that we talk about a religion which is related to the God. So he's trying to teach us about the instruction of the life, how is it going on. الدين مرتبط ارتباط روحي بالحياة. نفهم من خلال تعابير ميلتون in this poem he has a full information معلومات كثيرة وموسعة حول الحياة وكيف ارتباطها بالدين من خلال البايبل، والبايبل أيضا مرتبط بالخالق في الله. ميلتون he wants to teach us يريد أن يعلمنا كيف الحياة مستمرة وما علينا أن نقوم به لكي نستمر في هذه الحياة. Hope dream. What do you mean by this theme? The speaker has a high hope for that he might accomplish in the future. He's dreaming about the future. How is going on? يحلم بالحياة كيف تصبح في المستقبل. He says he would have been a supernal useful servant of God, but we cannot know if his motives are truly selfish. Maybe he's a selfish, or maybe it is just an expressions for the other people, or if he is ambitious gay but now struggle to come to terms with a personal upheaval. He has not increased his master's wealthy. This servant is cast into the darkness, considering that the speaker already feels he lives in the darkness. What further punishment of the end of the poem? Patience gives him a new plan. He should wait until God calls him on him to serve. Look, he's keep talking about himself. هو يعلم بأنه قد تكون جانب من العقوبة أنه أصبح لا يرى. So he thought he cannot see in anything. It is matter of punishment or not. لكن هو لديه أمل مستقبلي في الحياة. So he hoped that he will get in everything to serve his God. لديه أمل بأن يخدم أو يقدم everything إلى الرب. I'm talking about Allah himself. Okay? Because he realized that when he became blind that أن الله لا يحتاج إلى الإنسان. So the people needs him. And the people should try to live in this life. Theme of guilty and blame. Speaker's mind is a big ball of guilty and confusion. He takes pride in his vast intelligence, but worries that he failed to use his light. So he's talking about how the people are looks guilty, okay, and feeling in a sense when he had it. You can imagine him saying, how could I have known my vision was going to run out. يعني تكلم حول الإنسان أنه لديه كل شيء ويستطيع القيام بكل شيء إلا أنه يخسر كل شيء بعدم تقديم أي شيء إلى الدين أو إلى بقية الناس من جانب المساعدة. His soul bends toward serves of God like a flower bends toward the sun, but he is not longer fit for the kings of intensive work that he might have done. He hopes that God does not blame him like the angry Lord from the parable of the talents in the Bible. Look, he's talking about how the God is merciful, but the people did not do anything for him or to serve him. If we're talking about a servant, it means that God does not need something from us, but he needs us to help ourselves. إن الرب ليس بحاجتنا أو بحاجة الإنسان إلى أن يخدمه, but we have أن نخدم الدين. If we talk about the religion, so it means that we are talking about التعاليم الدينية والأخلاقية الحقيقية بمساعدة الناس. كل ما تكون قادر على مساعدة الغير أو تقديم الأخلاق الصحيحة that the God asked from us التي ينزلها في القرآن أو البايبل أو الكتب السماوية الأخرى. So it means that here we serve the God. Let's talk about the symbol of patience. What do you mean by a symbol of patience? He compared it with a Christianity. It allows people to walk toward the other theological virtues like hope and faith. When the speaker begins to question whether God might be king of a cruel figure for demanding work for people who cannot perform it, patience steps in to correct him. The twist, of course, is that the speaker must already have patience in order for personified figure calling patient to come on the sense. معظم الناس يعتقد إنه أي شيء يصيبه إنه هو عقاب من الله. But we have to be a patient. We have to have a wisdom of the life. Okay? Look, the poet here, he's very intelligent. هو قارئ كاتب. But he became blind. أصبح أعمى. ليس من المعقول أن الله عاقب. لكن when he became blind, he realized that there are many things he has to do it in this life and for the other people. So we have to be a patient. يجب أن نكون صبورين في كل مواقف الحياة. He has a talent. I'm talking about the poet himself. So why the talent? It's one of the symbolism in this poem. The poem hangs upon a talent in the sense of a skill and talent as the unity of monetary measurement in biblical times. The parable of talents occurs in chapter 25 of the Gospel of Matthew, and it tells the story of two servants improving their own lot by increasing the bounty of their master. In the first section, the speaker compares God to the Lord. In the parable, who goes away on a trip and returning to ask what his servants has done with their money. In the second section of the poem, patients explain that God is more like a king who does not need all his servants to actively work for him. Look, he explaining everything. Okay, first of all, he talk about himself has a talent. On another hand, he mentions that talent with a patient, it's an equal. Okay, so it not means that the God is punishing us when he's taking something from us. Blindness. What do you mean by blindness? When he became blind, he thought he lost everything. But he realized that he has something is different, even in the dark. So, this poem is something called On His Blindness. It's the title of this poem. But the speaker might respond, blindness? What do you mean by blindness? I'm not the one who's blind. He considers himself, he's not blind. حتى وإن فقد نظره أو بصيرته يعتقد بأنه هو ليس أعمى. أوكي؟ لأنه يستطيع القيام بأمور أخرى أكثر مما أن تكون بها مبصر. It is the world that has run out of the light. Look, it is very important. يعني أنه يعكس العمى على العالم لأنه لم يستطع النظر إلى الاتجاه الصحيح من الحياة. معظم الناس ليس لديهم صبر. So they are just like a blind. This argument is like saying that you aren't really running. It's the world that is rolling beneath you like a treadmill. As you can see, Milton used complicated wordplay to describe why the speaker has a hard time serving God. His blindness is like a lamp that runs out of a fuel, like a daylight that turns to a night, and like a currency that has not been used to maximum effect. Look, if you are become blind so totally, you realize that about the real of the life. not means that just if you can see that you are understanding everything. ليس من معقول انه انت فقط ان تبصر على الحياة انه انت حصلت على كل شيء من الحياة او انت فهمت واقع الحياة. When he became blind, I'm talking about the poet, he realized that how to be a patient, how to serve the God, how to do something for or to offer something for the other people. Okay, so he said that the world is blind, إنه العالم هو الأعمى وليس هو. عندما أصبح أعمى, he realized the reality of the life.